We are set for baseball Friday night in Lodo. The Rockies and Marlins meeting for the second time this year down in Miami in June. The Marlins took 3 out of 4 against the Rockies. The one game the Rockies did win, Jorge De La Rosa was on the mound. He got the victory 5-3. That was on a Monday evening in front of the Rockies traveling to the Bronx to take on the Yankees. D. Gordon is back off his suspension, and he takes strike one on the outside corner. Nolan Arenado's about 75 feet away. He won't move back much farther than that because Gordon will bunt with a strike or even 2 strikes.
Seen that before from D. Gordon, utilizing the speed.
This is in the air to deep left, and it's going to fade foul, fortunately. And it's quickly a 2-strike count.
7-7 even up for Jorge, but the 100 mark he hit in his last start, 100-game winner for Jorge in his career. Walks are up just a tick since coming back into the rotation, but not horrible.
What's interesting is the numbers, the bottom line numbers have been good. He has pitched the Rockies to a number of victories since his return. The ERA's 3.5, 3.54, but the strikeout to walk ratio is kind of odd, 30-24.
And that's what I mean, where it's the walks are a little bit higher, but just not getting the same amount of punch outs.
This is going to be a tough play. Well, he had 3 infield hits on Wednesday against the Cubs, and he has an infield hit to begin here. One of the fastest players in baseball. He, along with Billy Hamilton, probably the 2 swiftest runners in the game. So he is aboard in front of Martin Prado as you look at the Southwest batting order for Don Mattingly this evening. Prado's hitting .319, Christian Yelich hitting .319, and then Giancarlo Stanton. He is hitting much better over the last 40 games than when the Rockies saw him in June. Marcell Ozuna's having a great year. JT Realmuto, a lot of people don't know about him. Good hitting catcher. Chris Johnson, Danny Echeverria, and then David Phelps on the hill. First pitch is in there to Prado.
And that was a quick pitch from Jorge, because this presents problems with D. Gordon and his speed. Martin Prado hitting 2s, much like DJ LeMahieu. They're almost carbon copies of each other. They don't mind hitting behind in the count and taking the ball the other way. So you got to keep your eye on D. Gordon.
That's in there as well, 0-2. Gordon has attempted 12 stolen bases. He's been successful 9 times. But keep in mind, for Gordon, this is just his 29th game. He played early, and then he failed a drug test, a PD test, let me specify, and was suspended for 50 games, just returned a few days ago. 0-2, and this is in the air to shallow left. Getting there is David Dahl. He got a great jump. We have noticed that about Dahl. He comes with a terrific reputation defensively. We know he runs well. We know he throws well. It's very accurate, but he gets great jumps.
And it helps in this ballpark, too, to have somebody with the speed in left field like David, because it's so cavernous out there. But he made it look easy once he went to get the ball and to catch it. Because off the bat, thinking, oh, no, this could be trouble, and drop in there. But it's not huge out there with Martin Prado.
So that'll bring up Christian Yelich.
Yelich 1 for 10 in his career against De La.
De La Rosa has had guys run on him quite a bit this year.
But the first 3 pitches that he threw to Prado, he was real close to 1 second delivering the baseball.
He takes off, and it's fouled off.
I like it. There's not even a leg kick tonight from Jorge. He's just picking his front foot up and then just drifting and going right towards the plate.
Give Nick Cunley a chance.
I mean, a lot of times Jorge will bring this knee like way up into his mid-thigh area.
Runners have been successful 7 out of 9 attempts against De La Rosa this year. That's down low. Christian Yelich, left on left, is hitting .300 this year. In fact, he has had exactly 100 at bats against left-handed pitching, and he has 30 hits. This guy can swing it.
Just see the growth from when he came into the league to where he is now. Each year getting better. We talked about it with Charlie Blackmon last night, but Christian Yelich, same thing, just starting to get stronger too.
Gordon not going. Good pitch, 1-2. Yelich is a Southern California product, and he played travel baseball with Nolan Arenado, among others. They said had a loaded team. Well, take those two guys. You know who was on that team also? Tony Walters. Tony played short. Nolan played third. Yelich played first. That's a pretty good start right there.
Yeah.
Know how to pick your teammates.
It's always the best advice.
Yeah.
I wonder who played second on that team.
Got to ask him. There's Tony. Before he, way before he got moved behind the plate. That happened in pro ball. Michael Lorenzen of Cincinnati, you know, that big arm, big right-hander. Michael Lorenzen pitched. He was one of the pitchers on that.
So what you're saying, they never lost the game.
That's why I said you guys did. That's why I said to Yelich, I said you guys shook hands a lot, didn't you? He goes, yeah, we were pretty good.
Watch D. Gordon here on this pitch.
He takes off. Good jump, and again, it's a foul ball.
1-2, a running count. The other thing for D, why I thought he might take off, is Jorge had thrown over 2 times.
That was your old number in your head, wasn't it?
Yeah, it usually was. I would look to go on the 3rd time after if a pitcher threw over twice.
Did you ever give that feint like D. Gordon just did, like you're leaning back to the bag and put your weight on the left foot to take off?
No, I didn't do that. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. But it makes sense why you would kind of lean that way. But to me, I want my momentum going the other way. Big size lead at first for D. Gordon.
And this is in the air to right center field. Cargo and Charlie. It'll be Blackmon more towards center. 2 outs. Take a look at the Rockies defensively tonight. Great to see Cargo back in there. He had last night off after twisting his ankle late in the ball game on Wednesday night. David Dahl's in left. We established that. Charlie in center, of course. Nolan and Descalso on the left side. DJ LeMahieu, Mark Reynolds right side. Nick Hundley doing the catching. 1st and 3 against the Marlins, and the Rangers are in for 2. The Rockies took the first 2 against the Dodgers, fell 4-2 yesterday. Back to 500. And Giancarlo Stanton swings and misses at an off-speed pitch.
Stanton really was struggling when we were in Miami earlier, but his last 40 games hitting over 300 now.
Yeah, he started to turn it around, Huey, with the Rockies in town. Here's the 0-1, and he got beat on that pitch, and it's 0-2. Stanton, over 29 games prior to his last 40. As Huey mentioned, hitting 305 his last 40. He hit 118. I mean, it wasn't like, all right, he's scuffling, he's hitting 210. He hit 118.
And I don't know how many strikeouts during that time, but it seemed like every night it was 2 to 3 minimum.
0-2, Gordon running, and he'll get the bag. That's a pitch that was really close, taken by Stanton, but Joe West said, nope, not a strike. So the 10th stolen base for D. Gordon.
Oh, he's over there enough to get the read, doesn't look back. He's not worried about what's happening behind him. He's just focused on second base.
Two and 2 on Stanton. Rockies put 3 on the left side. Blackmon shaded toward right center. Three and 2. Stanton's done plenty of damage against the Rockies. 17 games at Coors Field. He has 8 home runs. It's a home run every 8 at bats or so, as you see Osuna on deck. 3-2, and that is fair. That'll score D. Gordon easily, and for Stanton, he'll have himself a double. 1-0 Miami. Just pulled it inside the third base line, and Stanton has his 61st RBI of the year.
Cut fastball at 86 miles an hour to Stanton. Right on the Subaru Supermo. Opens the hips up. Hit it off the label, but the strength of Stanton still gets it by Nolan inside the bag. Watch that front hip, how it has to clear and that left foot open up to allow the hands in the barrel to get to that baseball.
Now Osuna has had an all-star campaign. In fact, he was a starter in the Midsummer Classic in the outfield alongside Carlos Gonzalez. And this is popped up. Daniel Descalso has it. Giancarlo Stanton didn't realize how many outs there were. He was paused between second and third, but he drove in D. Gordon, a 1-0 Miami lead. Paid off. He a little dribbler up the third base line. He eventually scores on a 2-out double by Giancarlo Stanton. Charlie Blackmon will lead off for the Rockies tonight. He brings a .303 average to the ballpark. Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. DJ batting second, then Cargo riding that 15-game hitting streak, among the league leaders in virtually every offensive category. Same deal for Nolan Arenado. David Dahl, 10-game hitting streak out of the gate. Mark Reynolds will bat sixth. Descalso, Nick Hundley, and Jorge De La Rosa against David Phelps. Phelps, the former Yankee, started games for them last year until mid-August. 50 appearances this year, all out of the bullpen. This is his first start.
His last start was August 16th of last year. He does have 59 career starts, but 101 relief appearances. Came in for Colin Ray, and that's why he's starting now. Fastball, cut fastball, curveball, changeup from Phelps. But how does he pitch tonight after, as you said, Drew, every appearance this year has been coming out of the bullpen? That's what I have to look at. Through 55 pitches when he came in relief. So tonight, probably 75, maybe 80 pitches is going to be his max.
And he was not pitching in a mop-up role. He was pitching in a prominent spot for Don Mattingly. 7th, 8th inning on the plus side. His fastball had risen by 3 miles an hour just trying to go get 3 outs. He has a really good cutter. He had been very effective, but they're down because of injury and the Colin Ray trade. They felt like he was hurt when they got him, so they sent him back to San Diego, and now they were looking for a fifth starter. Don Mattingly told us before the game they'd been talking about Phelps for a couple of weeks. Well, now here he is as a starter. You hope to run him out of there early and really make it a bullpen day.
Well, I'd make it a bullpen weekend then, because that would blow up your whole bullpen.
This is in the air to Stanton in right. Marlins defensively have been very good. In the outfield, you have Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton, one of the most gifted young outfields in baseball. Prado so steady at third. Echeverria can pick it at short. D. Gordon, great range at second. Chris Johnson doing the chores at first base tonight. And JT Realmuto, he's still developing as a catcher. He's a converted middle infielder. Real athletic, as we talk about Tony Walters. And fastball at 94 for a strike.
And that's probably where he'll sit with the fastball at 94, especially in the role he's asked to be pitching it tonight.
One of the pitches he kind of did away with, and you made mention of it, when he became a bullpen guy, was his changeup.
He was only throwing that 1% of the time, so 1% is really negligible for a hitter.
Yeah, and then last year he would throw it about 7-8% of the time, so it was part of his repertoire when he was starting. I don't know if you just go back and get the same feel for it when you haven't been using it.
Probably not, because you work on it some on your bullpen session, but that's not your primary focus.
And there's a base hit for DJ to right center field. And that'll bring up Cargo.
DJ, if he has one strike on or no strikes, he'll think about pulling the ball, but once he gets to one strike, you know he's going to think about inside out the baseball, and that's what he does with the line drive to right field. Another opposite field hit for DJ.
And Huey DJ is now 6 for 10 against Phelps. What's interesting is that Cargo is 1 for 10 against Phelps, and Nolan's 1 for 11 against Phelps. That's got to change.
And tonight might be the night, but when they have faced him before, like you said, he might have been throwing a touch harder.
The 1 for Cargo against Phelps was a home run, a 3-run shot.
We're really studying Cargo today during batting practice, watching how that left ankle would hold up. Would he jump off it too quickly? Didn't see any problems there.
This ball deep center field. Ozuna is going to have a play in front of the track. DJ was at second. He'll move back. Cargo just missed that. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Nolan. Folks, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more, they've been making a habit of doing that of late. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Nolan at the plate. After a 1 for 18 spell, Nolan went 5 for his last 11. I asked him in the clubhouse today, I didn't get a chance to the other day, about the 3-run home run he hit against Brock Stewart. He had been slumping. The Rockies at that point in the game were down 2-0. It was bottom of the first inning. It was early, but they were falling behind on the Turner 2-run home run against Tyler Anderson. I said, which made it most gratifying? That you gave your team the lead? That certainly had a play in it. That you kind of busted out of a slump? Or the fact that the last pitch was 95 at your coconut? And he smiled. He said, all of them, but the last one really made me feel good.
Yeah, when a guy comes up and in, and he did buzz the tower. He came up, not intentional, but it just happened. And then you take him out at the very next pitch.
The very next pitch.
That's even more gratifying.
Good crowd still gathering on a Friday evening. cool night again. Like yesterday, first pitch was 69 degrees. Tonight it's 70 degrees. Off the plate. That was 97. That's what he was doing out of the bullpen.
Consistently. It tells you he can still go back and get those 2 or 3 miles an hour because he's been 94 on his previous fastballs.
DJ at first with 2 outs. 2-2. It's fouled off. Having Card go back in there, Huey. I mean, it's silly even to utter this, but it just changes the whole dynamic of the lineup. Now you have Dahl instead of batting 4th, and he's been marvelous. He's batting 5th. Mark Reynolds, who's had a career hitting close to 250 home runs. He's in the 6th spot. It lengthens your lineup out. This ball's well hit left center field, but he missed it a little bit. Yelich will make the catch out there. So 2 drives to fairly deep center and left from Cargo and Nolan. The Rockies come up empty in the 1st. They trail 1-0.
As we head to the top of the 2nd here at Coors Field. Don't forget it's a Fan Friday. We want you to join the conversation. Don't forget to tag your comments with hashtag Fan Friday, and hopefully we'll get you on the broadcast today. Jenny Kavnar back with you out in center field. We're going to be talking Ichiro, no doubt about it. The guy is approaching 3,000 hits. Mark Stout is actually going to kick off our Fan Friday. Check out this photo. Rockies setting up an auxiliary press spot. If Ichiro collects 3,000 this weekend, he would be the 30th player in Major League history to do so. And guys, we saw all the Japanese media here. I would say about 75 different media members credentialed. They're just as anxious for hit 3,000. But I think the big question as we kick off Fan Friday is if Ichiro gets to 3,000, add in his hits in Japan, should he be MLB's hit king? So that's going to be the conversation on Fan Friday. We'll keep the comments rolling in just a bit.
Yeah, great stuff, Jenny. And I don't know, quite frankly, Huey, how many at-bats he's going to get. Their outfield of Yelich, Stanton, and Osuna, those are the 3 guys that Don Mattingly has said since spring training he wants out there virtually every day.
And so for Don, it becomes a case of when do I use him? Because he's used him sparingly this year, and I'm talking about Ichiro, a lot of pinch hits for him, and this outfield. But still, for Ichiro, I mean, every day he comes out here and he does the same preparation. We see him do his running, the stretching, the hitting. It's all part of a bigger process that he goes through every day. 33 starts on the year for Ichiro.
2-2 to Real Muto on the ground at 3rd. And Nolan will throw him out, 1 out. You know, we were discussing if there was any pressure on the Marlins to have him not play very much until he got home, to do it in Miami and sell extra tickets, all that sort of thing. And Don Mattingly, of course, said no, absolutely not. They're in the middle of a pennant race, and he said Ichiro would not want to have it that way. He wants to play the game as he always has.
Well, and the difference too, they're in the hunt for a playoff spot where they sit. So to sit one of your guys just for a record affects the whole team.
Yeah, and that's not what Ichiro's about. You know, Jenny's question's a great one. 1,278 hits. I believe that's the number that he had in Japan. It's not the same for me as the major leagues, but I will offer this and solicit your opinion. His 3,000 hits, and he's going to get it. In this era, any offensive great record in this era, to me, is more impressive probably than virtually any other era because of the specialization. You don't face a tired starting pitcher in the 7th or 8th inning who's now on his 145th pitch. That's not how the game's played in this era.
No, you have those hard throwers, the 97 to 102 mile an hour pitchers coming at you, and I think that's where it's different. Another thing too, for somebody to have 3,000 hits in a career, I mean, that's averaging over 200 hits for 15 years.
Ridiculous. 2-2 on Chris Johnson, and he's gone. Let's check in again with Jenny.
Yeah, you guys were talking about Ichiro's pre-game stretch. The Marlins actually tweeted out today a photo of him, just how flexible he is. I think that's what's so impressive when you talk about a guy into his 40s. This is the major key, and I love that they tweeted that. They tweeted several other photos, of course, over the course of this season. But Huey, have you ever seen someone who can be so entertaining from the second he steps out on the field because of his stretching?
No, not at all. That just hurts me just watching him do that. And he said the other day that he wants to play till he's 50, and being able to stretch like that, I'm not going to say he can't do it.
If he doesn't play when he's 50, it's not going to be because he wasn't in shape.
And working out.
1-0 on Echeverria, and that's in there for a strike. 1-1 on the Marlins shortstop. 2 outs. Marlins up in the second, 1-0.
We'll be talking about Ichiro a lot this weekend, and rightfully so. But in 2004, he had 262 hits, which is a major league record. 262.
He had 242 in his first year in the big leagues, when he was not only the American League Rookie of the Year, but the American League MVP. The only other time that happened was 1975, when center fielder for the Boston Red Sox came up, Freddie Lynn, at a Southern Cal, and won both honors. 2-2. And of course was the year they had future Hall of Famer Jim Ed Rice in the outfield. Yeah. Rice finished second in the Rookie of the Year because of Lynn, and third in the MVP, leading the Red Sox to the World Series. Didn't break the streak that year. They lost to the Big Red Machine. Here's the 2-2. 3-2. Phelps on deck. Giancarlo Stanton, a run-scoring double in the first to give the Marlins an early advantage. And this is going to be a tough chance as well. Nolan, bare hand, and Mark Reynolds couldn't come up with it. And going to second base is Echeverria. That'll be an error on Nolan. And I think Mark's more upset with it than Nolan. We've seen Mark all year make that pick.
And Nolan make this throw, even coming in barehanding the baseball. 99 out of 100 times when you're throwing from that angle, you're going to throw it more back towards the runner. And just looking at that on the Subaru Supermo, I could see why Mark was a little angry, because as a guy that's trying to pick a ball, you want to work underneath the baseball, and that did no harm, though. Getting Phelps out this next pitch.
1-0 Miami as we go to the bottom of the second. David Dahl will lead off when we come back. pretty good since his call up. LeMahieu big hit. David Dahl yesterday. Rockies trailing 1-0. Dahl goes deep, dead central against Kenta Maeda. Gave the Rockies, unfortunately, a brief 2-1 lead. Kid has been special. 310 career minor league hitter. And so far, he's hitting .375 in the big leagues as he says hello to Country Joe West. Said, my dad told me that you can umpire before I was born. That's right. You step in the box. Don't give me any lip.
Before I write a country song about you.
Right. First pitch from Phelps misses. Called strike, not on the swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe West.
It was at the top of the Subaru strike zone.
One and 2. David Phelps, 29-year-old, product of Notre Dame.
A poli-sci major at Notre Dame.
Can't get in there unless you hit the books. Can't stay there if you don't hit the books.
That's why I didn't apply.
On many reasons. Me either. 2008, he was drafted by the Yankees in the 14th round. Trying to put a book together on David Dahl, and it looks like the book the Marlins have under pitching coach Juan Nieves is try to beat him up in the zone. This is to third base, Martin Prado. 1 out. I'll tell you an interesting story about Phelps. Got experience against the Rockies, and he has an unhappy experience here at Coors Field. A year ago in June, he gave up 9 runs in 3 2/3 at Coors Field on 11 hits. I mean, that's a bludgeoning. And then he turned around a short while later and threw 8 shutout innings against the Rockies in Miami.
Yeah, go figure. So it kind of evens out in 6 career games, 3 starts. He's 1-1 with the .479 ERA, but a .228 batting average against.
Mark Reynolds lobs a base hit to left field. Well, like the first inning, a 1-out single. And that'll bring up Daniel Descalso. I thought Daniel was going to look like a mummy today when we went to the clubhouse, Huey.
Yeah, where to start? Where's it going to be? The shoulder, the elbow, the neck, the hands, the wrist. I mentioned his hand earlier, and it is his right hand, so it'll be his bottom hand. He really scraped that up on the warning track when he's trying to stop himself after running into the wall last night or falling into the wall. Just a reminder of what happened to Daniel last night. He's going back on a deep drive against Corey Seager and then crashes hard. And watch that neck just pound off that wall, but the hand going in underneath that padding, trying to shake everything off, and comes in afterwards. Tyler Chatwood give him a high five, but that was going to be the night for Daniel Descalso.
You know, Walt has said this all along, how much he loves his guys, appreciates they're all gamers, but they all want to be a part of this right now. There's a buzz in that clubhouse every night. You don't want to miss games. You don't want to, well, give me an extra day. Descalso back in there, Cargo back in there.
And that's what happens when you're winning. Guys the injury doesn't feel quite as severe as maybe it would if you were 20 games out and you're looking up to everybody. Say, oh yeah, I'll just go ahead and take another one. I don't feel quite right. But when you're rolling and you're having fun, you're coming to the ballpark, everybody wants to be a part of it. Hey, get me in the lineup again.
Yep. 1-1 on Descalso. Outside 2-1. Rockies last night shut down by Maeda. that fine Dodger bullpen. They had only 2 hits after the 4th inning. 5 hits for the night. The thing about Phelps, it's a little bit different. Usually when a guy throws a cutter, it's a 3 to 4 mile an hour differential. With Phelps, it's about an 8 mile an hour differential.
So it acts more like a slider than if he's taking that much off of it. Doesn't have the drop down or the severe bite on it, but just the miles an hour does enough to offset the hitter.
Daniel drives one to center field for a base hit. So 2 aboard for Nick Hundley.
Gets a fastball the inside, pulls the hands in close to his body, and he slips a little bit coming out of the box like we saw from Cargo the other night. Didn't roll his ankle completely, but did get a clean break out of there.
Nick Hundley with 2 on and 1 out, putting in that delicate 8th spot in the lineup. This is where you expand a little bit with the pitcher on deck. Takes a strike at 94. Nick's had some clutch hits of late. He's driven in 28. 5 home runs for Hundley.
Had a big hit single in the 4th inning on Tuesday night's game against the Dodgers to drive in a run.
Outside. Marlins had yesterday off. They were in town. They got in Wednesday evening while the Rockies were still taking on the Dodgers. That was their first day off since the All-Star break. They played 20 straight. They had a rough 3 days in Chicago. Lost all 3 ball games. That misses. 2-1. And then they had a 4-2 lead on Wednesday. And A.J. Ramos melted down, gave up 3, and the winning run came on a wild pitch that Huey missed by 6 feet.
And I think he might be generous with the 6 feet. It could have been closer to 10 feet. It missed so bad.
He almost threw it in the dugout.
It was almost a dead ball by the time it finished rolling around. It was that bad.
And that's the first lead they've blown in the 9th inning this year. Ramos has been very good. Remember they added Fernando Rodney down there.
He's their 8th inning guy. They got Michael Dunn from the left side.
3-1. We're looking for one in your wheelhouse right here if you're Nick Hundley. Outfield straight up, average depth. They're not playing as deep as the Dodgers were playing. Reynolds at second. Descalso at first. And that pitch out over the plate, foul back.
Does he reach back for more on the fastball, the 97, or try to cut it? Nick, think opposite gap. Think right center field.
Two outs.
August 8th is Purple Monday. Download the MLB.com ballpark app and become eligible to win autographed items. Plus, the first 5,000 fans will receive a Purple Monday Rockies flag.
Tough pitch up and in that struck out Nick Hundley. So now it's De La Rosa.
Say the Texas Rangers are going to be in town for that Purple Monday. Playing down in Houston tonight.
And that's back up the middle of Bullet. Here's Reynolds, and here's the throw from Osuna, and they'll hold Reynolds. Even though the throw, as it turns out, was wide of the plate by 15 feet. How about De La Rosa?
Well, David Phelps reached up with his bare hand thinking that he was going to be able to catch this. Just watch the pitcher. Puts his hand up, decides better of it, but Osuna charges so hard on this ball. So he gets the ball, and Mark's not even to third base yet. So Stu holds him up, and I know after this people say, well, if he keeps going, he's probably going to score. But you're looking at it as a third base coach, when he catches that ball, where is my runner? You're going to assume that that throw is going to be somewhere on the dirt portion at home plate.
You do not have the luxury of knowing where it is going.
You see the height of it, but you don't know side to side.
Blackman swings at the first pitch. 0-1. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Part of this great run for the Rockies, in which they've won 11 out of 14. Number 1, it's been the starting pitching. And number 2, they've gotten some clutch hits. Looking for one here in the second, down 1-0. Blackman back up the middle, and that one found the glove of Phelps. So the Rockies will leave them loaded as we turn the page to inning number 3. 1-0 Miami.
One 1-0 Miami. Jorge De La Rosa just had his 45th career hit in the big leagues. How about our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball? And we go inside the 100 career victories for Jorge De La Rosa. He has a win as a starter 95 times, so 5 in relief. 52 wins here at Coors Field. He has dominated the NL West and in the National League. And he's the 603rd player in big league history with 100 wins, 161st lefty to do it, guys. 25 active players have 100 wins in the big leagues, and one is on the hill tonight for the Rocks.
It's a great accomplishment, and it's a greater accomplishment in this era. We were talking about how tough it is to get 3,000 hits, especially if you're doing it in this era. Ichiro 2 hits away. We're getting 100 victories in the big leagues harder now than it's ever been, because just don't get as many decisions. Bullpen's taking over earlier and earlier. D. Gordon had a little scratch hit, a little roller up the third base line, and he eventually scored in that first inning on a 2-out double by Stanton. That's in there, 1-1. Hey, Mark, you're still with us, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Mark, I have a question for you.
I'm listening, Drew.
That just missed, 2-1. Because you do such vast research on esoteric subjects, shall we say, right?
DJ called it absurd.
Well,
to me, yeah.
I was trying to be kind.
I understand.
Okay. So the first hit for De La Rosa in his career came against what pitcher?
Doug's with you tonight, isn't he?
No, I'm just curious. I knew this. I would assume you did.
I don't know this. I just looked real quick to see that he got a hit, and it was his 45th in the big leagues. And then I did look. I can tell you he was 28 and 30 in the minors.
Yeah, well, you're slipping. I would have thought you'd be able to enumerate all the guys he got hits off of.
I know when he came up.
Leave your smartphone alone. Ryan Tucker.
Who?
Yeah.
Thanks, Huey.
Yeah, actually, thank Doug. Charlie Blackmon runs it down. That's a big out. Keep D. Gordon off the base paths. And Dougie, who was Ryan Tucker? I don't remember him either. One out. That'll bring up Martin Prado. Prado's been crushing left-handed pitching, hitting over 400 against lefties.
It's a major league leader against left-handed pitching. 444 for Prado.
Well, as a team, Huey, they're 17-7 against left-handed starters. That's the best winning percentage in baseball.
708 win percentage.
And one of their losses was against Jorge De La Rosa.
And that was a big win for Jorge. That was the second start since coming back out of the bullpen. The Rockies had lost the first 3 in Miami. The night game, late travel going into New York.
You're right. That was a big win. Made that flight that landed about 4:30 in the morning a little more palatable.
That was what was nice about last night, giving the Dodgers a little taste of their own medicine, making them have a night game on a getaway day like they do to us all the time.
Exactly. The one good thing for the Dodgers, they pick up an hour every time we've left Los Angeles, and we lose an hour. 2-1 on Prado. Outside, 3-1. Martin, one of the workout buddies in the offseason in the Orlando area of Carlos Gonzalez. And that's inside, ball 4. Let's go to center field, see what Jenny's up to once again. Jenny?
Yeah, Drew, we asked if Ichiro gets to hit 3,000 here in the U.S. Should his Japan hits be included to get the hit title? Here's how fans are chiming in. It doesn't matter what we think. Ichiro's accomplishments need no fan validation. Norman saying, no, Jenny, there is only one hit king, and that is Pete Rose. And Ben said, Ichiro should be the hit king / samurai of world baseball. He can keep his MLB / American title, and then everyone's happy. I love those comments. Keep them coming.
Yelich lines it to deep left. Good read, good footwork, Huey, by David Dahl.
Because he had to open up to his glove side first, and then like a cornerback in football where he had to pivot and drop back to open up the right side.
Good hips.
Yeah, so he's going left, and now watch right here. Pivots to catch it going back over his right shoulder. And he did that happen because it came off the bat of the left-handed Yelich, where it'll start slicing towards the line on you.
Now here's Stanton again. Double just inside the bag at third base. It scored D. Gordon in the first inning. Stanton 9 of 17 this year against the Rockies. Told you he got healthy against Colorado. He was in that horrendous slump. Good pitch. 1-1.
Right at the knees on the Subaru strike zone.
In the air and playable right center field. Cargo's got it, and a solid third inning for Jorge De La Rosa. Rockies down 1-0. Series storylines. Yeah, it's a battle for the wild card. The Marlins lead the Rockies by 3 in the wild card pursuit. The Rockies 12-3 with a .338 ERA from their starters since the All-Star break. And Ichiro, a couple hits from 3,000, not in the lineup tonight. And DJ, who had a base hit to right center, is leading it off. 2, 3, and 4 in the third against David Phelps. The starters even better over the last 14 games. 10-1 at .228 ERA. No swing. They check it out at first with Clint Fagan. Joe West is behind the plate. We established that. Clint Fagan at first. Andy Fletcher's at second. Mark Ripperger is at third. DJ just a notch under 300 in his career against the Marlins. 0-2, and this is to deep right. Stanton is not going to get there, and it's foul.
Stanton can cover some ground.
Stanton's a good outfielder, and you look at him, you say, well, is he going to be a good outfielder? As large as he is, he can move. Goes to 6'8", 250 pounds. Play tight end for an NFL team in your neighborhood. Broncos, Virgil Green, they got the kid out of Ohio State coming off an ACL. You don't think they'd welcome him to the party?
I think a lot of teams would. I know SC wanted him. Coming out of high school.
He was not one of those 365-day-a-year travel ball club baseball kids growing up in Southern California. He played all 3 sports at Notre Dame High School.
Oh, so it can be done. You don't have to specialize.
It especially can be done when you walk in the room and you're that guy, because all the coaches will go, all right, that's fine. You can miss this. We'll still take you. Outside, 3-2 on LeMahieu. Cargo's on deck. He's down 1-0. Rockies left the bases loaded in the second, and 3 singles in the second. And ball 4. Great at bat from LeMahieu.
Go from 0-2 to a walk. 4 pitches for David Phelps.
We're going to pay close attention to that pitch count, because Phelps making his first start of the year. Again, 75 to 85. Tom Mattingly said even more important than the pitch is what it looks like from his perspective, from Juan Nieves' perspective, the pitching coach. Cargo hit a drive to deep center his first time up. And that is grabbed there by the first baseman Johnson, and now DJ's in a pickle. Turns into a double play.
Either way, DJ's going to be out. So he was thinking, if they step on the bag, I stop. Hopefully I can get back. Once it hits the ground, stepping on the bag is Johnson. If he throws, if DJ keeps going, he throws the second, it's a tag out there. Really no man's land with LeMahieu and what he could do.
Two outs. Arenado at the plate. Hit the ball well to left center his first time up. And the curveball gets dropped in the zone. Throw that about 10% of the time. At least he was doing that out of the bullpen. This in there, 1-1. Rockies still have the best record since the All-Star break, despite the loss last night, 14-6.
Also won 4 straight series. A lot of positive trends.
Keep finding ways to win at home. Rockies 27-25 at home after a poor start at 20th at Blake. Here's the 2-1. Two. And a called strike 3 by Joe West. So the Rockies are done in the 3rd. It remains 1-0 Miami. By Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Ichiro has to say excuse me 30 times just to get dug out to the field for batting practice. They're all here. A ton of media from around the world. Pacific Rim is well represented. Not in the starting lineup tonight against the left-hander De La Rosa. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, Mark Stout, Jenny Cavnar, Marcell Ozuna takes inside ball 1. Ozuna popped to short to end the 1st inning. 1-0 Miami.
Ozuna hit a couple home runs off of De La last time down in Miami. Both of those were on change-ups.
Talk about how big Stanton is. Ozuna's like a 235-pound center fielder.
Very strong arm, which we witnessed in the 2nd inning.
And a line shot at Descalso, 1 out. And we go to center field again. Here's Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
Yeah, well, you guys showed the media all a buzz about Ichiro possibly getting to 3,000. But one fan had a very important question. He says, well, what if Ichiro is 1 hit shy at 3,000, bottom of the 9th, tied game, runner on first, he hits an RBI double? Would it be okay if the fans cheered? I think it is okay because it's history. But yes, you want the Rockies to win these 3 games. They are so important. We were talking to some guys in the clubhouse, and Nolan Arenado, in fact, was asking Spilly, you know, have you ever seen any cool milestones like this? No. Walt Weiss said in 25 years of baseball, he hasn't seen any cool milestones like 3,000 hits. This is such a rare occurrence, and the fact that it could possibly happen here at Coors Field, it's something that should be embraced because it's baseball history, you guys.
And that's why we all work in the game in whatever capacity. We love the sport, first of all, and that's outside 1-1 on JT Realmuto. The Rockies have found history, though, before. Ricky Henderson got his 3,000th hit in 2001 against the Rockies. In 2000 and I can't remember what year it was. We did the ball game, Huey, down in Houston when Craig Biggio went 5 for 5 and had his 3,000th hit. And Barry Bonds is here in the ballpark tonight. He's a hitting instructor for the Marlins. We were in San Francisco when he hit number 715 against BK,
and
Young Kim.
Yeah, and for Ichiro, he would become just the 30th guy to have 3,000 hits in the history of this grand game. I mean, so yes, you cheer milestones like that.
Yeah. Biggio did it in 07. There's some great trivia, I suppose. There's an off-speed pitch, 3-2, attached to guys when they reached 3,000 hits. Tragically, Roberto Clemente finished his final season right at 3,000 hits, thankfully, and then tragic occurrence in the offseason on a relief mission. Realmuto reaches on a 1-out walk. That brings up Chris Johnson. There have only been 2 guys to have a 5-hit ball game when they produced their 3,000th hit. Biggio, we mentioned.
Right.
The other is Derek Jeter. There have been 3 guys that have produced their 3,000th hit with a home run. They all at one point played for the Yankees. Can you name them?
Oh my.
That's what Dick Enberg would say. Oh my.
Oh, okay. Now you got to think about it, because no, I've got a different list, and it happens to be on this list, so that's why I got some help. Wade Boggs, A-Rod, and then Jeter.
Yep. But A-Rod last year, Jeter in 2011, and Wade Boggs. Yeah. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Johnson.
And there's only been 1 guy in the history when he hits his 3,000th hit for it to be a pinch hit. Can you name that guy?
Stan the Man Musial.
Yes, you're right. Ding, ding, ding in 1958.
Where did he do it? You're cheating again.
Well, you did too. Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field. And think about that. Cardinals and Cubs, they've hated each other for generations. Yeah. 2 balls and a strike on Johnson. Marlins have hit into more double plays than any other team in the National League, 92 of them. And will they hit into 1 here? There's 1. There's 2. Thank you.
Nice call, Drew.
I like when it works that way. We go to the bottom of the 4th. The Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
1-0 Miami. There's David Dahl. He is leading off. I asked him who his favorite player was growing up from Birmingham, Alabama. He said Chipper Jones. And then I said, what about a player today? Right away, he said Christian Yelich. And if you look at their swings, and Yelich is only 24 and Dahl is 22, both lefties at the plate, both play the outfield, 6'3", 6'2" or so, similar swings. Makes sense. And when I talked to Christian Yelich today, guys, he said, I haven't been playing that long for somebody to have me as their favorite player. But he knew about Dahl. He said, yeah, I know that he came up and got a hit in his debut and has a hit streak. So that's what David Dahl said. Similar kind of players, right?
I like the way you split screened that too, Mark, because you want to emulate or pattern somebody. Do it with the same body type that you. And those two guys, I think Yelich is a little bit stronger right now than David Dahl, but that will come with some more age and working in the off season. So to pattern yourself after Christian Yelich and watch his rise, good things on the horizon for David.
Yeah, I think it's a nice comparison. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dahl. Don Mattingly right now, still early in the game, 4th inning. You have to be thrilled with what Phelps has given them.
Next pitch will be number 57. Yeah, he escaped the bases loaded jam in the second, and had some help last inning with the double play.
And that's strike 3. 3rd strikeout for Phelps. That'll bring up Reynolds. He singled in the second.
We talked about David Phelps and making a start tonight and what's going to happen. Just read right before the ball game that the guy he replaced and who then was sent back to San Diego, Colin Ray, is scheduled to undergo Tommy John surgery.
I would have liked to have been privy to the conversations behind closed doors when he showed up and his elbow was sore as he was warming up for that first appearance. So he was sent back to San Diego. And you say, well, why would San Diego take him back? I think politically they probably had to take him back.
Yes. Just to make sure that when you want to make a trade somewhere down the road, whether it's the end of this year, next year, the year after, you're still dealing in good faith.
2 strikes on Reynolds. Reynolds had a tough July, hit just 190, but he's off to a great start in August. 6 for 13. Mark hits a fly ball down the right field line, and that's into the seats foul. Dozen home runs for Reynolds. One ball, 2 strikes. Good eye, 2-2.
Playing off that high fastball. David Phelps is not afraid to climb the ladder to work up at the top of the Subaru strike zone.
"50 games out of the pen to begin the year. His first start tonight. You know what else is very interesting about Phelps? A year ago, good portion of the year as a starter. Then he went to the bullpen. He struck out 6.2 batters per 9 innings. Below league average. This year, out of the pen, striking out 11.4 hitters per 9. So it's an increase of 5.2 hitters per 9 innings. It's the largest increase from one season to the next in the history of the game. And that's strike 3. That's 3 in a row. Backward K's as Joe West dismisses Mark Reynolds.
The one to David Dahl was a breaking pitch. The 2 to Nolan, the one that he ended last half inning with, and then this one to Mark are the same pitch. It's a cut fastball that'll make the guys jackknife, and then he's hoping to work it back in. That looked like it stayed off on the Subaru strike zone, and it was off to Nolan when Joe West called it a strike, but that's what he's doing. He's calling it there.
It's a front door cutter, and he has located well. Descalso a base hit in center, his first time up. I think going forward, Huey, when you look at the last 53 games of the regular season, it's really a third of a season. The story out, Dahl has come in and stepped up. What kind of production can the Rockies get in that bottom third of the lineup?
That's going to be key. You can't have an empty inning too often, where it's, for the game, you're thinking 3 innings basically for the bottom half. If you don't get any production there, it's tough on everybody else. That's what's made this offense so good this year, though. They've gotten the hits from guys hitting 6th, 7th, and 8th for most of the year.
And this is grabbed by Phelps, and it's a 1-2-3 4th inning. So the Rockies had held scoreless through 4. It's 1-0. Here's this week's CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge poll question. What's the shortest 9-inning game ever played at Coors Field? There are your 3 choices. And we ask you to cast your vote at @RootSports_RM. Our CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge. Adeiny Echeverria in the 5th inning will lead things off. It is 8-9-1 for Miami. Jorge has pitched well. Gave up an infield hit to D. Gordon leading off the game. Gordon with 2 outs stole second, and then Stanton on a 2-2 pitch kind of fisted one just inside the third base bag for a double and scored the only run of the game.
We haven't seen quite as many split fingers tonight from Jorge. A lot more cut fastballs.
And a good curveball. Where's that?
Come on, Joe. Looked like it was at top of the Subaru strike zone.
Two 2-0. Echeverria's hit his last 6. You know what's interesting about Miami? Some things don't add up, Huey. That's a base hit. And it's fitting that he got that hit because they're first in the National League in batting average, 272. The Marlins are. Yet they are 11th in the National League in runs scored. That's usually there's some kind of correlation. If you're hitting for a high average, you're going to be among the league leaders in runs scored.
And they're also second in the major leagues, lead the National League in hits with over 1,020 hits. Only Boston has more, so it doesn't seem like it would add up. You know, Michael Dunn, the left-hander, is warming up in the Marlins bullpen.
Phelps will be trying to move Echeverria. Phelps has only 4 at-bats this year. Again, he was pitching out of the bullpen.
He's 5 for 43 in his career.
But he said something funny. That's actually a really good bunt. So Phelps gets the job done as Echeverria goes to second. That'll bring up D. Gordon with 1 out. And we go to center field again. Here's Jenny.
Yeah, because our Fan Friday topic has been about Ichiro. I just want to make a point that he brought 1,278 hits with him at the age of 27 to make his major league debut. Check this out. Coach Hunter says, I think Ichiro should be considered a hit king. He started in a different era than today, has been successful then and today. And you talk about that. I mean, it's a totally different era of pitching than what Pete Rose had to face. And we got on that conversation in the dugout today with Walt Weiss, because you're now facing not just the best starters in the game, but you have so many specialized pitchers. And Ichiro's been able to hit all of them. I want your take, Huey, because the era that you played in might even be different than what we're talking about now.
Well, exactly. And it is a different game because back then it was, you know, you'd face a guy at least 3 times in the game. And most of the time it'd be 4. It would be late inning guys, maybe an 8th or 9th inning guy. And everything that Ichiro has done, you add up all the hits, it's remarkable for what he did in Japan and done here. But still, this is the major leagues. And to me, I don't want to diminish what Ichiro has done, getting close to 3,000 hits, but still, Pete Rose has over 4,000 hits. To me, he's still the hit king. That's just my opinion. I know I'm going to hear it from somebody, but this is playing in the major leagues your whole career. I just wish it would have been, he would have had, and I'm talking about Ichiro, the opportunity to come over here when he was 20 or 21 to see what he would have done.
I think he would have challenged that record. First of all, he had 1278, as Jenny pointed out. They play more games in the big leagues than they do in Japan.
Right.
And he was younger. We know how fast he was when he came over. He would have produced more hits. I have no qualms saying that. It doesn't take away from the accomplishments of Pete Rose. Great in any era is great. Pete Rose is the hit king. He did them all in the big leagues. Right. If you're asking me, do I think Ichiro was maybe a more impactful offensive player? You could make that argument, because I mean, you look at how he runs. 10 gold gloves in the outfield. Is he a better player? Yeah, he's probably a better player than Pete Rose was. Pete Rose was awesome. You want to teach your kid how to play?
Hustle.
Watch Charlie Hustle. Watch, put the old tapes in of how he played.
Head first slide because of Pete Rose. Growing up, I was one of them. Diving into a bag because of Pete Rose, watching him do it.
2-1 on Martin Prado. Big sequence here in a 1-0 game. Prado, 319 hitter. And it's 3-1. Why this lineup's so tough, Huey? Now you have D. Gordon back at the top. Prado, 300+ hitter. Yelich, 300+ hitter. And then you have Stanton. He didn't get the high strike there, so ball 4. That pitch was out of the strike zone. And now he'll face Yelich.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices.
Third walk allowed by De La Rosa.
I just think he feels a little bit more comfortable pitching to Yelich than he did Martin Prado.
Well, Yelich hit the ball hard twice against him. Once to center, and a line shot to fairly deep left field. I told you Yelich had a 300 average coming in left on left. This guy's really balanced at the plate. He's a very gifted hitter. On one hop to DJ. That'll end the inning. Middle of 5, it remains 1-0 Miami. % off your online order at Papa John's. Utilize the promo code ROXWIN at papajohns.com. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout, Jenny Cavnar. 1-0 Miami. David Phelps making his first start of the year after pitching 54+ innings out of the bullpen. Has done a very fine job. He has kept the Rockies at bay. The Rockies had the bases loaded with 2 outs in the second. Charlie hit a hard comebacker. That was the closest thing to a scoring opportunity the Rockies have had. Nick Hundley, De La Rosa, and Blackman here in the 5th inning. De La Rosa's done a really good job. It's kind of been a typical De La Rosa outing. You know he's going to be traffic, but he always seems to maneuver around that traffic.
The traffic he did last inning by walking Prado for the 2nd time tonight and induced Yelich to an easy ground ball to DJ to end the inning.
This is up the middle, and Echeverria. Plenty of time to throw out Hundley. De La Rosa has one of the Rockies' 4 hits, and that's actually going to be it. Phelps at 71 pitches and 4 1/3 shutout innings is going to get an attaboy, and Don Mattingly is going to turn it over to his bullpen. Martin Prado, one of the team leaders for the Marlins, telling him good job.
Your attention. Now pitching for the Marlins, number 40, Mike Dunn.
1-0 as we watch the pitching change, and Michael Dunn taking a look at Charlie Blackmon, who's on deck. Earlier today, he received the Heart and Hustle Award presented by the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. It's an award given to the one player on each team that is the Heart and Hustle Award winner, and it's voted by former players and alumni. So it's a pretty prestigious honor, and congratulations to Charlie Blackmon for winning the award this year for the Colorado Rockies.
Well deserved. So Mike Dunn takes over, the only lefty in the bullpen for Miami, and I'm not going to ever second guess Don Mattingly. I think the world of Don Mattingly, it just is a little curious why you wouldn't let Phelps at least go after the pitcher instead of making the pitching change right there.
And then to see what happens after that, because maybe if he throws one pitch, he gets Dale out, you let him go to the next guy and have a chance to at least get through 5 innings.
Phelps went 4 1/3 shutout. 1-1 count on De La Rosa. Hard throwing Mike Dunn.
Mike Dunn's the all-time leader in relief appearances, wins, and holds for the Miami Marlins. But what this does more than anything, and maybe Don doesn't worry about it because of the way his bullpen is structured, but he has no other left-hander out there. And we just got done with the Dodgers, who yesterday had 4 left-handers in their pen.
3-1 on De La Rosa. What the Marlins have is really good depth in their bullpen. They have some big arms. De La taking the whole way, 3-2.
Tried to go down to first. No such luck, Jorge. That was a strike on the Subaru strike zone.
De La competes, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. It's fun to watch him take batting practice with the rest of the pitchers. The other day he hit a home run in pitchers batting practice. I was joking with him. I said, I saw that. He goes, okay, good. I know somebody saw it then. Oh.
That's not how De La Rosa wanted to get on. Where he appears to be okay.
The good thing is it didn't look to be his throwing arm. It was his right elbow. This was, oh, actually, it's the back of the right arm. That's the fear that managers have when we talk about maybe a right-handed thrower, but they hit left-handed or vice versa. They're exposing that pitching arm. And if you do get hit, then it becomes a problem. For Jorge, it's not his, so he's still okay. Doesn't say it doesn't hurt.
Charlie takes a strike. This ball crushed deep right, but it's going to turn foul.
Just went out, just hooked this about 3/4 of the way down the line. It just keeps going. And Charlie's standing at the plate thinking for a moment, and now I just put my head down. I know it's not a home run.
Oh, 2. Chris Johnson playing in front of De La Rosa, and that's a foul tip. It's held. A strikeout. 2 outs, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. LeMahieu a single and a walk. DJ hit his 7th home run in that Dodger series a couple of nights ago. 7 home runs represents a new career high for LeMahieu. And that's back up the middle. DJ's on again. De La Rosa to second.
This is where you need to cash in. A few opportunities. Phelps out of there. DJ, another hit. Just a hit machine for DJ.
Cargo has seen done 6 times in his career. He's 1 for 6. This is Juan Nieves.
122 hits now for DJ.
Cargo sat out last night. Had the Rockies gotten a man on in the 9th, he would have pinch hit. That unfortunately did not occur. So Cargo coming off the 2 home run ball game 2 nights ago. Tonight he had a deep drive to center that was caught, and then hit into a 3-6-4, kind of an unconventional double play. 2 outs, 2 on. And that's off the plate. 2-0. De La Rosa's at second. He was hit with a 3-2 pitch. And a moment ago, LeMahieu single. Rockies have out hit the Marlins 5-3 for whatever that's worth. They're down 1-0. Bottom of 5. And this is slowly hit. This could be a tough chance for Gordon. But he got it in time over to Mike Dunn to end the inning. So the Rockies leave 2 on. We'll go to the 6th. Still 1-0.
Lead over the Rockies as we head to the top of the 6th on a Fan Friday. Let's go a little flashback Friday on you. Steven, I love this. He wrote in to send this picture. Some old tickets. How about this? Here are the Marlins and Rockies tickets from season 1, 1993. The Florida Marlins and the Colorado Rockies a rain check ticket, by the way, on July 8th. Walt Weiss was involved in that game with Renee Lachman, but they were not in Rockies uniforms, fellas. They were, of course, in those beautiful Florida Marlins. The nice teal, against the purple.
Right.
Those were the colors of the 90s.
I guess so. Yeah, I remember that. But those teal uniforms, not a big fan of. Jimmy.
You weren't?
No.
I like teal.
I'm going to say it.
I like teal. It goes with the water. It goes with South Florida. I'm okay with teal.
Well, I'm not saying it didn't go with South Florida. I just said I'm not a big fan of teal. That's all.
Latch was a huge fan of teal.
As a manager, sure.
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton doubled in a run, the only run of the game in the first, and hit a pop fly to right field in the third. He'll lead off the 6th inning. Bounces up there. Ball 1.
Seen more curveballs tonight from Jorge. Really a pitch that he's been throwing a lot more lately than he did prior to going out to the bullpen.
Ball. The changeup, that splitter, 1-1. So Stanton has hit a home run at Coors Field every 8.38 at bats, which is the best home run rate ever at Coors Field, ahead of Barry Bonds. Barry hit a home run every 10 at bats, slightly more than that in his career.
How about those two today? We were standing right behind the batting cage when the Marlins were hitting, and those two guys were standing next to each other, kind of leaning on the cage.
Tweeted that picture out. I said, who wins that home run derby? This is on the ground to third. Nolan's got it, and Stanton is out. Talking to Barry about that home run he hit in batting practice that nearly went out of the stadium back before the Rockies built the rooftop. You know the purple line that signifies exactly 5,280 feet.
Yeah.
It is exactly 5 rows from the very, very top of the stadium. It would be akin right now. We'll get Mike Fox, our director, to show the shot of the tavern up in extreme right field. If we could pan right a little bit, and where the tavern sign is coming to your picture on the right, it would be akin to hitting a ball just to the left of that, up in that crowd above the tavern. That's where Barry hit a ball in batting practice.
Yeah, so right up in this area, right up there.
Actually, just to the left of that. It was.
Oh, the tavern.
Yeah, just to the left of the tavern sign.
Yeah, the wrong tavern.
And Barry's still very proud of that.
Should be.
Yeah, I would be proud of that also. He said he thinks that there's footage of it still somewhere. We'll try to track it down.
Okay, so right here, I got my taverns mixed up. That tavern right there, that's where he went up to those people's area.
It almost went out of the stadium. And when he got to first during the ball game, swung on and missed. Probably walked. Got to first, and he told Todd, help. He said, hey, did you hear where I hit one in batting practice? Todd said, I'll clean up the language. He said, no way. And so Barry said, Luis, to Louis Pujols, who was the first base coach at the time for the Giants, he said, tell Todd. And he vouched for him.
Wow.
2-2 on Osuna.
We've seen Cargo come a couple rows shy of going up into the rooftop area.
Yeah, he hit one up there tonight in that third deck. It's always fun that last round. He really does try to do it. Last couple rounds. 2-2 again, and this ball's down the right field line. Foul. Now think about this from the other direction. So you're up here at the tavern, minding your own business with a cold beverage, looking on, and a ball sails over your head. Really? You kidding me? Maybe a golf ball.
Right. Incoming. Incoming baseball. Be careful.
3-2. Bonds had an 1162 OPS at Coors Field, 4th all-time. His on-base percentage was number 1, 468. 26 career home runs in 81 games played at Coors Field. Payoff pitch and ground ball. That is fair, and Nolan will throw out a sooner. Good play by Nolan. 2 outs.
Really circled around that ball nicely. Nolan in a low crouch, circles around and fields it off his left side, and then takes 2 strides and an on-the-money throw to Mark at first base. A quick transfer too. That's what is impressive.
2 outs. JT Realmuto coming up. 91 pitches in for De La Rosa. How about the play taking ground balls? The last ground ball that Arenado took today before leaving the field to relax before the game. He did a 180 on a ground ball at him and fielded the ball behind his back, blind to the ground ball at that point.
What did I do? I just shook my head, started laughing, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't like a bobble, or it wasn't, you know, I mean, it looked smooth as can be.
Well, and Vinny was hitting the ground balls to him, and Vinny just said, "No way, come on."
He threw the bat up in
Threw
the
the bat,
air.
said, "I'm done, I'm out." Cargo was giving him a hard time. He had a big smile on his face. The imagination with which he plays the game and practices the game.
It's a joy to watch take ground balls. 2-0 on Realmuto. That's fair. That left field corner. So a 2-out double. Just the 4th hit allowed by De La Rosa. And that'll bring up Chris Johnson.
20th double on the season for JT. It's tomahawks that ball. A guy that you don't hear a whole lot about, but he's hitting over 300, 313 now to be exact, which is the 3rd best mark among all major league catchers.
He's 9th in the National League. There's only 13 300 hitters in the National League. 6 are in the ball yard tonight. 3 for the Marlins and 3 for the Rockies. Prado, Yelich, and Realmuto for Miami. And Blackman, LeMahieu, and Cargo, the top 3 guys in the Rockies lineup. Oh and 2 on Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson was battling Michael Kadire for a batting championship a few years ago.
Yeah, Michael was sitting 2nd for a long time. And Chris went down, and Michael just overtook him and won the title.
Probably going to get big Justin Bour back tomorrow off the DL. Here's the 0-2. 1-2. The only reason they may not have activated him tonight is Bour's a left-handed hitter, and you have De La Rosa going.
Tomorrow will be Chad Bettis, the right-hander.
Two outs, runner at second. 1-2 on Chris Johnson.
Foul tip. Just enough with a split finger.
Johnson finished that year in 2013 at 321. Second, Cuddy, who hit 331. Since that time, though, Johnson's hit just 255. It was his career year.
Scott Oberg's up in the Rockies bullpen. This might be the last inning for Jorge. Next pitch will be number 100.
Two. Got it. Tell you what, De La Rosa's been magnificent tonight. 6 innings. He's allowed 1 run. Get him a couple of markers. 1-0 Miami. First inning run is held up thus far. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. In Lodo, the weekend beginning with the Rockies and Marlins playing a tight one. It's 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Arenado, Dahl, and Reynolds. And the Rockies will see a new arm here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Dunn pitched 2/3 of an inning, and it's Nick Whitgren taking over. Like so many of the Marlins out of their pen, he's got really good numbers.
34 2/3 inning, a whip of .92. That's because he had a scoreless streak of 12 2/3 innings, and that was just snapped on Friday. Gave up 2 earned runs against the Cardinals.
Strike one on Nolan. Fly ball to fairly deep left field, and he was caught looking.
Third time this year that Whitgren's been in the big leagues with the Marlins. Been closing part of the time down in New Orleans, their AAA affiliate.
Phelps went 4 1/3, no runs, 4 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts. We had our eyeballs on the Rockies dugout, and at least the first couple of minutes after De La Rosa got to the dugout, nobody came by to give bear hugs and handshakes. Usually when you're coming out of the game, you'll see the manager and the pitching coach go over and congratulate him on a nice outing, which at least initially indicates he's going to stay in.
It's a pretty much control tonight was Jorge. Gave up the run, as you said, Drew, in that first inning.
And it wasn't hit that hard. It was kind of fisted just in the right spot inside the bag past a diving Nolan Arenado.
2 strikeouts to go along with 7 flyouts, 9 ground ball outs tonight for Jorge.
Not a lot of hard hit balls against him.
Trying to look back, maybe Yelich, that line drive to left field.
There's one other liner. That was Marcell Ozuna, hit the ball hard to Descalso at short. Other than that, not much.
Fly balls, easy ground balls.
2-2. Talking to Nolan tonight in the clubhouse about how well this team is pitching right now, how exciting it is. Every day you know you're going to be in the ball game. Think about their losses since the All-Star break, just 6 of them. You had the 2 against Tampa. Other than that, the other 4 game could have gone either way.
You had the 1-0 game down in Atlanta I can think of that they lost in the bottom of the 9th inning. Had that one in Baltimore.
He held up. That's a late check. Not going to get a strike call there. So Nolan walks to lead off the 6th against Nick Whitgren. And now David Dahl, 10-game hitting streak coming in. Ground ball to 3rd and a strikeout caught looking. Dahl takes low, ball 1. This ball line caught. Wow. That was going to be extra bases down the right field line. Instead, it's a double play.
Double at minimum, possible triple. Because if it gets down in that corner, you don't know how it's going to shoot around. 2 2 plays tonight. Hargo had one earlier in the 3rd inning where it was a shot to Johnson. This is a changeup on the Subaru Super Mode. Dog goes down, hits it off the end of the bat, still gets enough wood on it. But Johnson just leaps up and grabs it, robs David of extra base hits, and then on top of that, the double play.
And another base hit for Mark Reynolds. We'll bring up Descalso.
Now Boone Logan and Scott Oberg have started to get loose in the Rockies bullpen.
Ichiro sitting on 2,998 hits. In that transition, as every player does late in their career, guys that are afforded the opportunity to go from superstar and a starter every night to a part-time player. Some never get that luxury.
No, but some guys like Ichiro, they can still do it and be productive and help the young guys and lead the younger players on how to do things.
1-1 on Descalso. Rockies trying to rally with 2 outs, down 1-0. Again, this is the part of the lineup that you hope has its moments in the final third of the season to help the Rockies in games like this.
Daniel had that Sunday in New York against Syndergaard where he drove in a couple runs in that ball game.
And this is going to be an easy play at second for Echeverria. The Rockies are done in the 6th. Line drive double play off the bat of Dahl did not help. 1-0 Miami.
Our Coors Timeless Moment, which is brought to you by Coors Banquet. Let's talk about 2 guys that got their 3,000th hit against the Rockies. Last day of 2001, October the 7th, Ricky Henderson leads off with a double. They take him out of the game. He would have 55 more hits in his career. That was number 3,000. This one comes June 28, 2007. Craig Biggio at Minute Maid Park in Houston off Aaron Cook. He was 5 for 6 in that game. He had that single thrown out at second. But this could be exciting. We were talking all night about how just milestones like this are neat to see. And Ichiro, of course, is on the on-deck circle, guys.
Yeah, neat stuff. And what you want to see happen is the Rockies naturally rally here in the late innings. Scott Oberg taking over after 6 outstanding innings from Jorge De La Rosa. 1 run on 4 hits for De La Rosa. He did his part Rockies offense has been shut down so far. Oberg's been a different pitcher since his return.
It's night and day for Scott, attacking the strike zone. The Houdiniac at City Field, getting out of a bases loaded jam. 3 outs on 3 pitches.
And then the next night, he had 2 guys on and got out of that with nobody out. And I think that really helped his confidence.
And it should. Come into those situations, it helps your confidence, but it also helps how the manager views you and what he thinks and what roles he can use for you.
And that's in there for a strike. 2-2 at 96. Two on Echeverria. Tough man to strike out, and he lines this one. The seat's hot.
Echeverria has not struck out in his last 10 games.
And there is Ichiro. Top of inning number 7.
See it.
Yeah, now he has.
That's all you have to do. Talk about it, it happens.
Heavy fastball, and Echeverria is gone. And that'll bring up Ichiro.
Pitching for the Marlins and placing the pitcher with number 51, Ichiro.
And Ichiro will not face Oberg. Walt Weiss is going to mix and match here in a 1-run game in the 7th. So Ichiro will get a left-hander. Boone Logan will be up next when we return.
Now pitching for the Rockies, number 48, Boone Logan.
And look at his timeline. 92 to 2000, 1,278 hits in the Japanese big leagues. And then he became in 01 the first Japanese-born player to play in North America. And his first year, he was an MVP, Rookie of the Year, obviously. 242 hits, 311 hits with the Yankees, and then 154 since signing with the Marlins. 2 hits shy of baseball immortality. 3,000 hits. Ichiro is 0 for his last 10. Boone Logan delivers strike 1.
1 for 4 career against Boone Logan for Ichiro. Lefties has still not been a problem for him, hitting .361 against left-handers this year.
We watched his batting practice today, and it looked like Ichiro in his prime. Baseball after baseball into the seats. It's kind of funny because for a guy who uses the whole field, in his BP, he pulls everything.
It tries to hit home runs.
Yeah.
But when you watch him during the game, he looks like he's running out of the box and he'll hit it to left field.
That's strike 3. Ichiro sees 3 pitches, and Boone says that'll be enough. So Ichiro's gone as Boone Logan painted the outside corner, 2 outs.
And he went to the same spot, pitched 2 and 3 to Ichiro. Second one he fouled off, that one he took. Just a 4-seam fastball in the Subaru Supermo.
Squared up Nick Hundley. Easy call for Joe West. D. Gordon at the plate. Both corners naturally shorten up. Gordon has scored the only run in this game. An infield hit in the first, stolen base delivered by Stanton on a double.
I'm gonna say you're gonna have to watch for a bunt for D. Gordon where he pulls it with him, just try to get by the pitcher, and then it becomes a foot race to the bag.
Did you see where he had 3 infield hits the other day? John Lackey was on the mound, and it was a tight game. And D. Gordon laid down a bunt for a hit. This is a little comebacker. Look at that, still bang bang at first. John Lackey got upset. Why? Exactly. That's what D. Gordon said after. Good inning. Year, best year of his career. Rockies down 1-0 as they come up at the bottom of the 7th inning. Nick Hundley will lead it off. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Miami, a deep bullpen. They go to Kyle Bearclaw. All this guy does is punch guys out, man. He has been incredible this year.
He leads National League relievers with 76. I think that's 78 strikeouts. The strikeout ratio 14.87 strikeouts per 9 inning. For Kyle, fastball averages 95. We'll get it up to 98. Slider, power slider at 83.
And that slider's the pitch he gets a lot of strikeouts with. Nick takes strike 1. Christian Adames on deck. So it'll be Hundley, Adames, and then Blackman starting to get late. 9 outs to work with for the Rockies offensively. have 6 hits, all singles. A run on just 4 hits for Miami. And that's going to be an easy play for D. Gordon. Gold glove for D. Gordon last year. Adames will pinch hit. Adames started in last night's ball game at shortstop, went 0 for 3 and was hit by a pitch.
The leader coming off the bench and pinch hits appearances for Christian. This is his 41st at bat, pinch hitting.
Marlin team's a young team that, especially in the bullpen, outside of Rodney, may not have a ton of huge names, but they got some big time arms.
A lot of guys that have come up through their system and have been closers down in the minor leagues. That doesn't mean they're closing here, but they have that experience, that late game experience. And Kyle Bearclaw is one of those youngsters.
They got late game fastballs, I'll tell you that.
Yes, they do.
One nothing Miami. The run came in the first inning. And that's sharply hit, but it's right at Prado. 2 outs.
You want to catch all the action August 19th through the 21st when the Chicago Cubs come to Coors Field. You get your tickets today. Right now the Cubbies are sitting the best mark in baseball at 66-41 coming into tonight, a .617 winning percentage.
Yeah, they had that hiccup there for a couple of weeks, which it's hard to play 162 games the way they played the first couple of months, but they've righted the ship. They just swept the Marlins, swung on and missed. Blackman behind 0-1. Rockies came in 3 games behind the Marlins in the wild card chase. The Marlins 57-51, the Rockies 54-54.
There's the slider. Sliders, to me, is the toughest pitch to hit. You don't pick up the spin. Everything happens so late.
Especially, Huey, I would think when a guy's throwing in the upper 90s.
Yeah, because you have to gear up for the fastball, so you'll cheat your swing early. Now when you're sitting in a ditch 0-2, what thoughts are going through your head as a hitter? Well, first is I've got to honor the fastball, but he made me look silly on that slider. They're asking for an elevated fastball.
And Prado's got it on the back end. Bearclaw works a 1-2-3 7th inning. 1-0 Miami. Rosa. Yeah, he did his part. He allowed 1 run. That came in the first inning. Just 4 hits. And he was in control of the Marlins. He got big outs when there was a little bit of traffic. Double play here. De La Rosa. Anytime you can give up just 1 run in 6 innings wherever you're playing, especially Coors Field, put your team in a great position to get a win. But the Rockies have been shut out through 7 innings. We're in the 8th, 1-0 Miami. With Jeff Houston, Mark Stott, Jenny Cavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. Adam Ottavino in the 8th inning will face Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, and Giancarlo Stanton.
Back-to-back nights now for Adam. Last night an inning, give up a couple hits, but had 2 strikeouts that were huge after that to get out of the inning.
Fastball outside. Prado's walked twice tonight. Fly ball to left field in the first.
Prado's still working on that scoreless streak of over 24 innings.
Slider. Prado was bailing out. And it was right in the middle of the plate.
But I don't blame Martin. That was right in the heart of the Subaru strike zone. But he's saying, no, it's coming at me to start with. No, it's not. Did you see that first movement for Prado? His left foot was going into the bucket. Just watch his left foot. That's all you need to watch, right? As that pitch starts to come, he's already half bailing.
I mean, that's when you got to throw it again, don't you? He did. 2-2. Fernando Rodney, former Seattle closer, most recently a Padre closer. He's now working the 8th inning for the Marlins. He's up in the Miami bullpen. He'll handle the 8th inning. 2-2, and this is popped up. DJ LeMahieu territory. 1 out. Find the latest Albuquerque Isotopes jerseys, t-shirts, novelties, and plenty more at abqisotopes.com. The Albuquerque Isotopes, proud AAA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies.
Albuquerque rained out last night.
Christian Yelich is 0 for 3. Side ball 1. Otto, a product of Northeastern University. Good school in Boston. This is back up the middle of base knock.
Right fielder, number 27, Giancarlo Stanton.
Bring up the big man, Giancarlo Stanton. 1 for 3. He's double in the first inning. Not hit super hard, but right inside the bag at third with 2 outs. Scored D. Gordon. He takes a strike. You'll notice Stanton against right-handed pitchers will wear that mask to protect where he was hit in the face, not against lefties. And the reason being, you know this, Hugh, is that the ball, a right-handed fastball, right on right or left on left, that gets away just keeps running toward you, and it's harder to get out of the way than if it came from a guy on the opposite side, left to right, right to a left.
And exactly, and for Giancarlo's that wiring that he has there, it's not too hindering when he's trying to look through the, try to pick up the ball.
That is going to be a wild pitch, and now Yelich in scoring position. Conley goes out. Make sure they have their sequence straight.
First 20,000 through the gates tomorrow night. We'll receive a DJ LeMahieu Ghostbusters bobblehead courtesy of King Supers.
One, two. See ya.
Where's that?
What, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Man, you got to get that.
Well,
You got to have that pitch.
Well, and you preach to pitchers all the time. Pitch low in the zone, and then you nail it, split the plate at the knees. Everything that could be in that Subaru strike zone was there.
2-2. Ground ball to third.
There's one more pitch. At least it didn't hurt him.
That'll bring up Osuna.
Center fielder.
Marcel, the center fielder for Miami, a pop out, a line out, and a ground out.
Quite the year for Osuna after last year having to be demoted. It's been part of the time down in AAA.
Fouled off. Still a young guy, just 25. .6'1", a little more than 230 pounds. He's out of Santo Domingo. 0-1. 0-2. Talk about uncomfortable at bat. Right-handed hitters in particular against Ottavino.
Because of how hard he can throw his fastball, how much the slider breaks.
Arm angle.
Yeah. The third thing is the arm angle. You think about some left-handers that you don't see many left-handers that'll throw from that arm angle that have the big sweep. It's like most of the time it's a slower mile per hour on the fastball. I think if he just start that slider maybe at his front hip and work it all the way across, you've got him.
He just did something interesting. He slid to the first base side. That's fouled off. He had been on the third base side of the rubber the first two pitches, stepped off, took the signal again from Hunley, and went to the first base side.
And that's something that a hitter really wouldn't pick up because he's got his head down, he's adjusting his batting gloves, trying to think along with the pitcher and catcher, so you wouldn't notice that if you're standing in the box.
Back on the third base side, here's the 0-2.
And each time Adam has gone out, now you're starting to see a little bit more increase in velocity and a little bit finer precision with the pitches.
Yeah, his command is improved, it seems like, each outing.
Back to the first base side.
A lot of pitchers don't do that.
No, it's like a hitter. You used to see more hitters. They would adjust in the box depending on what the pitcher was going to do. Sometimes they'd scoot up, scoot back, scoot closer, scoot further away. But pitchers, just like hitters now, they have their comfort zone. And this is where I'm going to stay, and this is what I do.
Yelich at second, 2 outs at the top of the 8th, 1-0 Miami. Here's the 1-2. Good block. Yeah, that's one heck of a block. Good job, Nick Hundley. 2-2. Osuna said, "That's a great block, Nick."
How'd you block that?
Well, that is a dirty slider, and once again, Ottavino walks off the mound, and the opponent gets nothing. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Miami 1 and the Rockies nothing. LeMahieu, Gonzalez, Arenado coming up. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Yelich is hopping, and across the way in Coors Field, the Rockies down 1-0 as they come to bat in the 8th inning. They're going to face Fernando Rodney. They've seen Fernando this year. He was with the Padres the first 3 months of the season. He was an all-star. He actually participated in a Miami uniform, but he earned that trip the first 3 months with San Diego. He was traded on June 30th for Chris Paddock, a minor league prospect. He was 17 out of 17 closing games for the Padres.
And a 0.31 ERA in those 28 games.
He's been a little more human, handling just the 8th inning here in Miami. They have kept A.J. Ramos in the 9th inning role. And Rodney, in 15 appearances, 15 innings of work, has given up 8 earned runs since coming to Miami. So he has been nicked a little bit since putting on the new uniform. It's fastball and a great changeup typically from Rodney. Misses ball 1.
And you don't know when he's going to throw either one. That's what's made Fernando Rodney so effective. Since 2012, he has 166 saves, which are the 3rd most in baseball.
DJ's been on all 3 times tonight, and he gets out in front 2-0. A couple of hits and a walk. The Rockies have just 6 hits, all singles. DJ, Cargo, Arenado in the 8th. First of 3 against Miami. That's a strike. Pulled through the hole. Good start. LeMahieu's 3rd hit.
DJ was held hitless last night, but had 3 hits the night before. He's kind of had the trifecta of base hits. This was a changeup on the Subaru Supermo. First hit was to right center field. The second hit was right up the middle. His 3rd hit pulled from the left side.
Crowd abuzz as Cargo steps up 0 for 3 on the 15-game hitting streak. And against Rodney in his career, Cargo's 1 for 4.
DJ, be alive for that changeup down in the dirt.
And he went changeup. First pitch strike to Cargo. And now they're going to redo their shift with Cargo. They're going to take Prado and throw him on the right side and slide Echeverria back to the left side. Cargo is behind 0-2. Back-to-back changeups.
Not surprising from Fernando. It subscribes to the old theory that when the crowd gets loud and everybody's pumped up, that he'll go softer with his pitch. Does he triple up on it?
He shook off the changeup for the fastball. Cargo lines it to left field, base hit. 2 on, nobody out. And a 16-game hitting streak for Cinco.
Not many pitches from Fernando Rodney, but to extend a hit streak, you got to do something right, and Cargo did. Takes the first pitch. It was a changeup. 82 miles an hour. Now he's sitting 0-2 on another changeup. Fernando thinks he can sneak the fastball past him. Not going to happen. And that was on Fernando too, because the catcher Realmuto called for a changeup for 3 in a row. Fernando shook that off. He wanted to throw the fastball. Carlos made him pay.
2 on, nobody out. First time the Rockies have had that situation all night. Here's Nolan. Ball 1.
That's smart from Nolan. Saw what he did to start off the pitch sequence to Cargo. Knew he threw him a changeup. Was sitting on a changeup there.
Outfield deep, straight up. LeMahieu at second. Cargo at first. No swing. It's 2-0. Rodney has not worked since the 31st of July. And in that outing against the Cardinals down in South Beach, he gave up a couple of runs on a couple of hits. On Nolan. All right, Huey.
Turn him loose.
Turn him loose, or you take a strike. I think you take a strike.
I'm going to take a strike here. He hasn't had many opportunities. Rodney's thrown 3 balls. You would just hate to maybe swing at a pitch that's close, but you just can't do anything with it. Sometimes it's okay to take that walk.
He's swinging, and it's going to be a 6-4-3. That's one of the reasons. Oh, it's thrown away, and the Rockies are going to tie it up. D. Gordon, Gold Glove winner, an easy turn, and he throws it into the dugout, and it's a 1-1 game.
And Nolan will move to second base with the throwing error.
What a break.
You swing 3-0, you hit a ground ball. And you're right, Drew. This was a pretty easy turn. I mean, D. Gordon's right there.
See if Cargo got into him.
No, he just sailed it, dropped the elbow and sailed it. Okay, looks it in on the Subaru Supermo. Now watch the right elbow. Really just drops it down. The slide was right at the bag, like the new rules say you have to be for Cargo. 3rd error of the season for D.
0-1 on Dahl. Dahl drives one toward the gap. This will get down. A hesitation for a moment by Arenado. Throw to the plate offline. Rockies take the lead. David Dahl delivers yet again.
the youngster. And how huge was this one? Change up on the Subaru Supermo. Just stays in the zone so long. I love the aggressiveness right here by Stu Cole. He saw the throw earlier from Osuna, how it was off the mark. This time he was waving Nolan the whole way. What a turn of events in the last 5 minutes.
And remember, Miami coming into this ball game defensively had made the 3rd fewest errors in the National League.
52 errors as a team.
And D. Gordon, who made the errors, a Gold Glove winner. And that's an easy play.
And then let's not forget about what happened after the base hit by David Dahl. He sees where the throw and how high was going. He scoots over to second base, so he's in scoring position.
And Mark Reynolds has had not only a good night offensively, Davis is going to go out to the mound. He calls time. Not only has Mark Reynolds had a good night, he's had a good homestand. Mark's 2 for 3 tonight. 7 for his last 14 at the plate. How about David Dahl? So he's got an 11-game hitting streak to begin his career. He's only the 13th player since 1913 to start his career with an 11-game hitting streak. And that, I need not tell you, was a clutch hit. Reynolds fouls a 2-0. It's 2-1. Carlos Estevez getting ready for the top of the 9th.
That's what you do. You take advantage of any sort of miscue. Marlins and D. Gordon had the wild throw to first. It goes into the dugout, run scores, and a guy on second base.
Outside.
Subaru strike zone it wasn't, but it was a bad frame job by JT behind the plate.
3-1 count for Mark Reynolds. Got a fastball. It's 3-2. Sometimes you need a little help, Huey, and then you got to take advantage. Rockies got a little help on the miscue by D. Gordon. And now they have a 2-1 lead in the 8th. This ball's driven to deep right field. Stanton back near the wall, leaps, can't catch it. Dahl around third. He'll score. Into second is Reynolds. 3-1, Colorado.
Feel that Lodo magic happening now. David Dahl getting high fives for what he did, but also the run he just scored. Mark Reynolds coming through again in the clutch. 47 RBIs. Hey, how about Mark tonight? His 3rd hit of the evening.
And what did we say? What did we say earlier? Watch the reaction for the bench. They're going to pass on Descalso, set up a force all the way around. But here's the bench. When that ball hit over the head of Stanton, you don't think this club's into it right now?
They believe.
But going back to something we discussed really not only tonight but the last couple of days, and it's an obvious discussion to have. With Story out for the remainder of the regular season at minimum, you lose a middle of the order guy who's leading the National League in home runs, 70+ RBIs, etc. What could that, lower third of the order do? And we said, Mark Reynolds, this guy's had a heck of a career. if Mark can catch fire and get some key hits, it really helps lengthen the lineup, and he's done exactly that.
22 doubles on the season from Mark. Add that one insurance run, if not more. And he didn't try to pull it. He didn't try to hit it 5 miles. He just took what Fernando Rodney gave him and hit it the other way. Now Don Mattingly's going to have to take his 8th inning guy out and go to their bullpen once again tonight.
They'll have to utilize their 6th pitcher of the night. Rockies up 3-1. They entered the frame down 1-0. Rockies now up 3-1. Mark Reynolds, Eric Young, Daniel Descalso having a conversation. When they play ball again, they're going to have to move, though. You can't have 3 guys standing on first base. Mark Reynolds a double to drive in the 3rd run. Intentional pass at Descalso. 1 out, 2 on. Nick Hundley at the plate, facing another guy who throws aspirin, Brian Ellington. Rodney in a 1/3 of an inning. Gave up 4 hits, the intentional walk.
And he threw 23 pitches.
Good swing, 0-1. One of the things that you have to keep in mind now, you know how things sway with bullpens. The psyche of this bullpen, which has been outstanding all year, got to be a little fragile after tonight and 2 nights ago in Chicago.
Kind of teetering on the edge. You had Ramos that blew it in Chicago on Wednesday. Tonight, Fernando Rodney. I don't care how much experience you have, it still plays into your mind.
And with Ramos the other day, the pitch that everybody saw nationally was the wild pitch that ended the ball game. He threw 23 pitches. That misses 2-1. And he really struggled throughout that outing.
Well, he walked the guy right before that wild pitch to
force in the
tying run.
Yep. And now Rodney, he hasn't quite been the same guy he was in San Diego.
Well, because he's not closing. He's an 8th inning guy. I think back to Washington when they brought Papelbon in with Drew Storen. What happened to him?
Nick takes, it's 3-1. Ryan Rayburn's on deck to pinch hit the pitcher spot. Rockies 3 runs on 10 hits. For the 10 here in the 8th inning. Ball 4, and that will load the bases for Ryan Rayburn. Sometimes good is contagious, sometimes bad is contagious.
Just like winning and losing is. You always have a feeling right now that we're not out of anything. 8th inning, we got 6 outs left, so what? DJ started it all off with a base hit. Cargo down on the count, 0-2. Gets a break on that double play.
Yep.
Single, double.
It'll be fun to see. Second pinch hit grand slam of the season for
worked.
Rayburn. 1-0 on the veteran. 35-year-old native of Florida, Ryan Rayburn. And Wandy Avis not going to have to get on the exercise bike after the ball game, huh?
Might need to bring in that portable oxygen at 5280 here. Ryan, 8-for-30 pinch hitting. You mentioned the grand slam. 2 other times he's hit home run. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs as a pinch hitter.
Reynolds doubled. He's now at third. Descalso an intentional pass at second, and the walk a moment ago to Nick Hundley. 1 out.
The home run cut. Ryan also has 8 walks as a pinch hitter. One of those walks was with the bases loaded to drive in a run. It was against Atlanta.
Here's the 1-1. Blowing it up there 97 to 99 miles an hour.
This guy's a lot like Carlos. He also reads triple digits and has a power slider. It's 90 miles an hour.
Hearing that slider count. Pay attention if you're Mark Reynolds at third. He bounces one.
Nice duck job by Ryan. High fastball, you'll end up bending your knees to give it an appearance that the ball is higher than what it actually is.
Two and two. 2 outs, and now Blackman will come up. Charlie, the 9th man to hit here in the 8th inning. Charlie tonight 0 for 4.
Where Charlie's experience as a leadoff hitter is huge, because he's approaching this at bat like a leadoff hitter, leading off the game. Pressure's on the pitcher, bases loaded, nowhere to put me. I'm going to make sure if I swing at anything, it's going to be in a prime position.
To the backstop, and Reynolds can't go. And that's a great job reading the ricochet by Reynolds, which you all heard me on my soapbox about that.
You shouldn't be rewarded for a wild pitch. This time they were. It's like a pitch back when you're a kid in the backyard. Throw it off that pitch back, it comes back to you, you work on your fielding.
Idiotic.
But Mark, to do that, you have to keep your head up. You just can't put your head down and charge like a bull.
It just takes the instincts away. Two and 0.
see Charlie just motion to himself with his left hand as he get the ball down.
Hard to get on top of 98, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't. Your eyes tell you can't. Your brain says, sure, we'll swing. And you never get there.
Always work underneath it, don't you?
Always work underneath.
2-1. Gentleman hoping for another knock. Slowly hit the third. That'll end the inning, but the Rockies down a run when they began this half inning. Now a 3-1 lead, looking for 3 more outs. David Dahl coming through again. Mark Reynolds involved also.
As we head to the top of the ninth, out in center field, Jenny Kavnar joined by the Twinsies.
Wow, you look handsome. Don't hate.
Corey Sullivan joins Billboard.
You look awesome. Right? I love what you did tonight.
Stop complimenting each other and get on with what's coming up on the show.
Quiz time at Coors Field. What do we always say is the winning formula for
Starting
baseball?
pitching,
Yeah, we have that.
timely offense.
Have that. Solid defense. There you go.
Wow.
How about that?
I loved it. That's exactly what happened tonight.
Awesome baseball so far.
Awesome. The
Awesome
offense
baseball.
came late, but you got to love it. The guys were mentioning it. Lodo Magic. Feel like it's back.
God, you look handsome.
Plenty
You
to
look
talk about,
amazing.
including their outfit choices coming up in the Toyota post-game show.
I forgot to ask him in the dugout this afternoon.
Here we go. Let's hear it.
No, did you guys talk beforehand, or was this purely?
No, great minds think alike. And he looks incredible. You look incredible. You look amazing. Amazing.
Why would you want to claim each other's minds?
Oh, boy.
I just was like, maybe we should leave Braid out of that and just say minds think alike sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. All right, we'll talk to you guys hopefully in a couple of moments here after Carlos Estevez does his thing in the ninth. JT Realmuto will lead it off. Estevez worked a 1-2-3 inning last night.
The last 9 games for Carlos, 8 innings, 10 strikeouts, 7 for 7 in save opportunities.
Realmuto tonight, a double in the 6th inning, 1 for 2 and a walk. 6, 7, and 8, 2-0. 6, 7, and 8 in the order for Miami. Chris Johnson on deck, Adeiny Echeverria.
And a reminder, Ichiro has already pinch hit. So they have the one left-hander still on the bench, Derek Dietrich.
And 3-0, and that'll get Nick Hundley right to the mound.
Well, this Sunday, August 7th, is the 12th annual Fate Day at Coors Field, presented by Chick-fil-A, featuring a free post-game concert by Crowder. Discounts available for groups of 25 or more. Carlos Carlos needs to make the adjustment because all 3 pitches were high into the arm side.
And on 4 pitches, a walk. None of the 4 were close.
All in the same location on the Subaru strike zone.
Chris Johnson, 2 strikeouts, and he grounded into a 6-4-3. That worked well here. And he goes to the slider and he gets strike 1.
Now, smart call from Nick. Didn't have the release point for the fastball, so let's throw a different pitch.
Descalso and LeMahieu set for 2. This is going to get through.
Chris Johnson using the leg kick, gets on top of it. A couple feet away from Daniel diving on the Subaru Supermo.
If you're Miami, you play for the tie always at home, but imagine you're going to see Echeverria lay down a bunt here regardless.
Or he might just try for one for a base hit.
He's swinging. One and 0. 5 of the 7 pitches from Carlos out of the strike zone so far. 6 of 8, 2-0.
We might see a Steve Foster pop out of the dugout here in a moment, just try to slow things down for Carlos.
Took a little something off that heater and got it in the strike zone.
Just trying to get it across. Highest we've seen on the fastball tonight is 96.
That's a strike, 2-2. Derek Dietrich has come out on deck in the pitcher's spot. Three-1 Colorado in the 9th. Nobody out. 2 men on. Tying run Chris Johnson, not particularly fleet at first base. Estevez worked last night. I'm sure a lot of people were saying, well, why is he in a ball game with the Rockies down 2 runs? He had not pitched in a week. Walt Weiss felt it imperative that he get some live action.
He only threw 15 pitches, so that's not going to affect him.
Nope, not at all. In fact, if anything, you'd assume it'd make him sharper for tonight. 2-2. And again, a foul ball. D. Gordon's error precipitated that rally for the Rockies. All 3 runs ended up being earned. Can't assume a double play.
Savvy move from Nick to go out to talk to Carlos. Make sure whatever pitch you want to throw, whether it's a fastball or a slider, you're convicted. You're good to go with it.
And a base hit. Realmuto's coming home, and the throw's not going to get him, and then it goes past everybody, and now the runners move into scoring position.
Wow. Backup slider, because it was 90 miles an hour. Waving Remuto the whole way. Nolan's deep enough right here. Once that runner gets by you, you gotta think about cutting that ball off. Because Nick couldn't get around JT, and then it kicks off that pad or the brick behind home, allowing the runners to move up. Now you know with Dietrich up there, he's thinking about just pulling the ball to the left side. We'll have a pinch runner for Chris Johnson at first or third base, and that'll be Miguel Rojas.
Well, this has not gone well, to say the least. A walk, 2 singles. And now after the error on the throw, second and third, nobody out. Rockies with a very precarious 1-run lead. And that misses. Jordan Lyles is now up for the Rockies. Dietrich 3 for 10 as a pinch hitter.
He was a primary second baseman when D. Gordon was out.
Cold foul. You need strikeouts now if you're Carlos Estevez. Of course, he has the ability to do it. 1-1. Now 1-2. Just does not have the command that he has displayed the last couple of weeks.
Well, the 17 pitches, only 9 have been in the strike zone.
Lady's sentiments felt by many here in the ballpark and at home. 2-2 on Dietrich. Got him. And Nick with a great block. He's got to get the out at first.
Not an easy throw either for Nick.
Mark Reynolds did a great job creating that throwing lane outside the base path. 1 out, and that'll bring up Gordon.
Throws the slider, buries it. Nick gets it down and then bobbles it. Dietrich running on the outside, but Mark Reynolds setting the target on the outside. Now you got the ever dangerous D. Gordon, because he'll bunt, he'll bring it with him. It could be a squeeze, it could be a sacrifice.
Well, the Rockies are going to pass on him. They're going to load the bases for a dangerous hitter, but to set up a double play in Martin Prado.
That's why they are doing that, is for all the things that I mentioned, because if he just lays a bunt down, get that run in. The winning run's already at second base. I mean, if it the way it's set up.
So that loads the bases. Prado will come up. 0 for 2, a couple of walks. One of the more respected guys in the game, Martin Prado. Productive wherever he's been.
Martin's in the top 10 in batting average on high fastballs and balls in. So that tells you got to pitch him away. And if you do, that's the place where he would hit the ball on the ground. But such a dangerous hitter in these situations.
Way inside, 1-0. The thing about Prado, not only is he a tremendous hitter, .319 hitter, one of the leading hitters in the league, but he's going to make you throw a strike. Not going to get himself out. Infield set for 2. Here's the 1-0 up the middle, base hit. That will score 2. Miami's going to take the lead. 4-3 Marlins.
I just said a moment ago the 2 places for Martin Prado where high. He likes the ball up. He's in the top 10, but also inside. You see where Nick's having to reach back? Look at the angle there and there. He just pulls the hands in. Gets it right back up the middle.
Yeah, it's been a really good run of late for Carlos Estevez, but a rough night this evening. He could not protect the Rockies' 2-run lead. He gets just 1 out. It's 1st and 3rd. 4-3 Miami now as Jordan Lyles comes on. And now Jordan Lyles in a difficult situation in the middle of the Marlins order, trying to keep it a 1-run game and give the Rockies a legitimate shot in the bottom of the 9th. The Rockies will have 2, 3, and 4 in their lineup. DJ LeMahieu, but first things first, you got to get off the field. D. Gordon can fly. He's at 3rd. Prado's at 1st after the 2-run single, and Christian Yelich is at the plate with Stanton on deck. Yelich 1 for 4.
Yelich 2nd on the team and grounding into double plays for the Marlins. He's done it 14 times. Center field, and the catch made. Here comes Gordon,
And he'll score, and it's a 2-run lead. 5-3 as Yelich with his 60th RBI. How often do rallies begin with a walk? It seems frequently. 2-run lead for Carlos, and Estevez on 4 pitches walked JT Realmuto leading off the 9th inning.
That's one thing if it's a walk where he's close to the zone, but those 4 pitches weren't close. Threw the backup slider to Chris Johnson inside. Johnson, excuse me, Johnson was with the fastball. Echeverria was the backup slider. The wild throw home, allowing the runners to advance. What a strange 9th inning it's been here tonight.
One and one on Stanton. Lyles adapting to his new role coming out of the pen. 1-2.
2.08 ERA coming out of the pen.
The Marlins are going to turn the baseball over to their closer, A.J. Ramos. And he melted down in Chicago on Wednesday. He's more of a contact closer also.
He's not the 98-mile-an-hour guy like some of the other Marlins relievers.
1-2 on Stanton.
Almost is more the 92-93 variety.
He still gets his share of strikeouts. Let's
sure
not pretend he doesn't, but this ball lined toward Cargo in deep right. He'll get there and he'll make the catch. Rough inning for the Rockies, to say the least. They had a 3-1 lead. Now they trail 5-3. LeMahieu to lead off in the bottom of the 9th. And now the Rockies looking for another rally as they produced in the bottom of the 8th inning. The right men coming up. DJ LeMahieu's had a perfect night, 3 for 3 and a walk. He'll be first against A.J. Ramos. And the last time the Marlins sent him out there, he coughed it up. He coughed up a 2-run lead in Chicago and lost 5-4.
We mentioned his fastball. He will also sink that. There's a lot of sliders, and that's where he likes to get the strikeouts on his slider. 55 and just 43 in a 3rd inning. DJ, Go ahead and start it all off again. You did it in the 8th inning with the base hit against Fernando Rodney. Continue your perfect night in the 9th.
Miguel Rojas pinch ran for Chris Johnson, and he stays in at first base where Johnson was playing. First pitch is in there, a strike. Another base hit for LeMahieu. 4 for 4, and that'll bring the tying run up in Cargo.
Something special is DJ. When you need something done, he's the man.
Slow heartbeat. Cargo in the 8th, big part of that rally. After DJ led the 8th off with a single, Cargo fell behind 0-2 on 2 changeups. Rodney tried to sneak a fastball by him, and he smoked one to left center. 16-game hitting streak for Gonzalez. It's in there for a strike. If you're Cargo, I know everybody in the ballpark, everybody home thinking hit one 4 miles. Just keep the rally going. Keep the baton moving. You don't have to be heroic. Outfield exceptionally deep. Nolan's on deck.
For Cargo, the change for him this year is how many balls he hits to left field. And with this shift, if they throw that curveball in, if you can stay back enough, and look at all this area right over here that he has to drive the baseball through.
Outside at 94, it's 1-2. This game was 1-0 till the bottom of the 8th. 1-2. And that's strike 3.
Just locked him up with the 80-mile-an-hour slider. Just staying away from the power of Cargo. Drops in there on the Subaru Supermo. No argument from Carlos.
Nolan 0 for 3 and a walk. Fastball misses, ball 1.
A little Rafi Betancourt in him. How many times he kind of comes up and pauses and rocks.
Ramos, a Texas Tech product. This ball's pulled foul. One, two. It's the second out. DJ to second, and that'll bring up David Dahl.
David came through with the single to right center field. last inning to be part of that big 3-run eighth. Change up from Fernando Rodney. The hit machine keeps on rolling.
Ball one on Dahl. Yeah, I know from Miami's standpoint, they're thinking, boy, they had that double play. D. Gordon airmails it. Rockies take advantage. And then from the Rockies' perspective, once they took advantage, you think of the ball to the backstop that would have had another run, but the ricochet and Mark Reynolds can't score. It came right back to Real Muto.
And he ends up at third base.
Right, and then you also think, you had the bases loaded, one out. If there's a way you get, one more knock, you blow it wide open. It's baseball, man. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right?
Well, they always talk about the last 3 outs of a ball game. So hard sometimes.
2-0's in there, 2-1 on Dahl. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Dahl pops it up. Echeverria has it, and the Rockies fall 5-3 after the great rally in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's a punch in the gut loss, and the Rockies fall 5-3 in the first of 3 against Miami. A.J. Ramos gets the save. Brian Ellington will get the victory. The loss goes to Carlos Estevez, our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Martin Prado with a sharp single up the middle. Drove in 2 and was the game winner for Miami. So the Marlins improved to 58-51. The Rockies dropped to 54-55. Tough loss tonight for the Rockies. It looked like they rallied the bottom of the 8th to produce an unlikely victory. 5-3, Miami wins it. We go to center field. Here's Jenny and the boys.
Thanks, Drew. It's the first time the Rockies have lost back